In this class, welcome student. In this class, we will discuss a structure of Earth atmosphere. Very important topics for prelims, mains, and also for the understanding of environmental topics. Okay. As far as the question of Earth atmosphere is concerned, so you know that Earth is surrounded from all the sides by the mechanical mixture of gas, which is referred to as atmosphere. Okay. Earth hold atmosphere because of the gravitational pull of the Earth. It is the gravitational pull which maintain the gaseous particle around the Earth's surface. Okay, and atmosphere act as a thermoregulatory instrument. Since origin of the Earth, the Earth attended three type of atmosphere. Initial type of atmosphere was referred to as primary atmosphere, made up of primordial gas. Again, Earth attended secondary atmosphere. It is defined as the chemical mixture of gas. And finally, during Cambrian period, Earth attended present day atmosphere, which is referred to as tertiary atmosphere, and it is defined as mechanical mixture of gas because most of the gases remain in the form of element, though certain proportion of chemical bond also exist, but overall elemental form of the gas dominate. That's why it is referred to as mechanical mixture. Getting well now? Actually, you see, if this is Earth's surface, and it is said that atmosphere extends up to the height of 10,000 kilometers from the Earth's surface. Okay, but the part of atmosphere extending up to 1,000 kilometers is referred to as effective thickness of Earth atmosphere, because this part affect the Earth atmospheric condition mainly. That's why it is referred to as effective atmosphere. Okay, different efforts were made to conduct a structural classification of Earth atmosphere. So initial effort was on the basis of composition. On the basis of composition, there are two parts of the Earth atmosphere. The lower part is referred to as, which extend up to 90 kilometers, is referred to as homosphere. Okay, and upper part is referred to as heterosphere. Getting well now? The lower part is referred to as homosphere because in this zone there existed fixed proportion of gases. Okay, homogeneous composition of gases are found in this zone. Why homogeneous? You say, actually you see, almost 78% of the total gases are in nitrogen constitutes 78%, 21% is accounted by oxygen, right? Other gases are carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, right? Certain inert gases, ozone, etc. also exist, but they are in trace amount. But this area, up to this height, this proportion is almost maintained. And why this proportion is maintained is because there occur continuous convectional phenomena and mixing of the gas occur. That's why a fixed proportion is being attended in this zone. Okay, it is clear. But actually, above 90 kilometers from the surface, this proportion is not maintained. In different layers, there is a dominance of different gases. As for example, in lower part of atmosphere, there is a dominance of oxygen. In just upper part, there is a dominance of nitrogen. Then there is a dominance of helium, and finally there is a dominance of hydrogen. Okay, heavy gases are found in the lower part of atmosphere, and light gases remain in the upper part. Getting well now? So there are four layers of the heterosphere. One is oxygen layer, second is nitrogen layer, third is helium layer, and the uppermost part is referred to as hydrogen layer. Getting well now? But actually you see, as far as the question of composition is concerned, composition frequently varies from the, actually when you will observe the climatic condition, atmospheric condition or composition of atmosphere during different geological period, you will find different composition. That's why effort was made by different geographer, climatologists to evolve another way to define the structural classification of Earth atmosphere. And in this context, Patterson played very important role. Patterson, Tisra, the Burt, Napier, so very important geographer who tried to explain the atmosphere, who tried to evolve the structural classification of Earth atmosphere on the basis of temperature. Getting well now? You see, it must be noticeable that for atmospheric circulation, solar radiation is the main source of energy. Okay, so Patterson tried to measure the temperature change in the atmosphere. He find, you know, that average temperature of the Earth's surface is 15 degree to 20 degrees Celsius. Some geographers considered it as 22 also. Okay, when you will increase in height, you see there are two type of phenomena. One is, if with increase in height there occur negative change in temperature, or with increase in height there occur positive change in temperature. Getting well now? So if with increase in height there occurred lowering of temperature, the rate of lowering of temperature is referred to as normal lapse rate or environmental lapse rate. Okay, here this indicate environmental lapse rate or normal lapse rate. Getting well now? But if with increase in height temperature gradually increases, this phenomena is referred to as inversion of temperature. Right? This is referred to as inversion of temperature. Getting well now? How environmental lapse rate differs from the rate of inversion of temperature? It is clear now? If with increase in height there will be decrease in the temperature, then it is referred to as, the rate of decrease of temperature is referred to as environmental lapse rate or normal lapse rate. But if with increase in height there occur positive change in temperature, then the rate of increase of temperature is referred to as inversion of temperature. Getting well now? Patterson identified that the temperature at the height of 14 km from the Earth's surface, है ना, 14 km from the Earth's surface is -73 degrees Celsius. Okay, at the height of 50 km, the temperature of 0 degrees Celsius is recorded. Again, at the height of 80 km, -85 degrees Celsius temperature was recorded, and in the uppermost part the temperature around 2000 degrees Celsius was recorded. Right? This temperature was recorded by Patterson. Getting well now? Okay, at the height of 14 km temperature is -73 degrees Celsius. At the height of 14 km -73 degrees Celsius was recorded. At the height of 50 km 0 degrees Celsius temperature is recorded, and at the height of 80 km -85 degrees Celsius temperature is recorded, and in the uppermost part the temperature up to 2000 degrees Celsius is recorded. Right? So it is obvious from this temperature condition that in the lower part, that is up to 14 km, negative trend in the temperature is recorded. That is, this zone is characterized by environmental lapse rate or normal lapse rate. Getting well? Again, in second zone, there exists positive trend of temperature. Na? Temperature increases with increase in height. Getting well now? So this is positive change. It means second zone is characterized by inversion of temperature. In third zone, again there is negative trend of temperature, negative trend. So it is also characterized by environmental lapse rate or normal lapse rate. And again, above 80 km, there is a positive trend in the temperature. Getting well now? So Patterson identified 4 particular layers of the Earth atmosphere having different temperature condition. It is clear now? And these zones are found in alternative way. Right? In the lower part there is a negative trend. Just above this there is a positive change. Then after there is a negative change, and then after there is a positive change. Okay? So based on this temperature, 4 different layers of the atmosphere were identified, right? And along with Patterson, Napier and Tisra the bird, right, given different different name to different layers of the Earth atmosphere. The firstmost part, this is first zone. Okay, this is first zone, right? It is referred to as troposphere. This is second zone. This is referred to as stratosphere. This is third zone, which is referred to as mesosphere. And this is fourth zone, which is referred to as thermosphere. Getting well now? So we have four different layers of Earth atmosphere. The lowermost layer is referred to as troposphere. Second zone is referred to as stratosphere. Third layer is referred to as mesosphere. And lastly, there is a thermosphere. Getting well now? Again, see, as far as the question of troposphere is concerned, it is further divided into three subdivisions. Okay? The lowermost part of troposphere, which extends up to 2 meters from the Earth's surface. 2 meters from the Earth's surface. This is referred to as, this is first sublayer, this is referred to as ground layer. Ground layer. Okay. This is second zone, which extends between 2 meters to 2 kilometers. This is frictional layer. Frictional layer. Okay. And this is third layer, which extends from 2 kilometers to 14 kilometers. This is the advection layer. Advection layer. Getting well now? Right? Actually, you see, there are three subdivisions of troposphere. The lowermost part is referred to as ground layer, which extends from the Earth's surface up to 2 meters. Second zone is referred to as frictional layer, which extends between 2 meters to 2 kilometers. Third layer is advection layer, which extends between 2 kilometers to 14 kilometers. And frictional layer is further divided into two parts. One is lower frictional layer, and second is upper frictional layer. Okay, upper frictional layer, and upper and lower frictional layer are separated by a transition zone known as peplopause. Known as peplopause. Peplopause is the transition zone which separates upper frictional layer and lower frictional layer. Getting well now? Again, you see, this is second zone is, I will explain one by one in detail now. Second zone is a stratosphere. The part of a stratosphere existing between 15 kilometer to 35 kilometer is dominated by ozone. That's why this part is referred to as ozonosphere. Ozonosphere. Getting well now? And the upper part is referred to as isothermal zone. Isothermal zone. Getting well now? Okay. Again, see, there is no subdivision of mesosphere. Mesosphere is also referred to as chemosphere. Chemosphere is clear na? Again, you see the uppermost layer is thermosphere. Thermosphere is divided into two parts. The lower part of thermosphere, which extend between 80 kilometer to 640 kilometer. Right? This is 640 kilometer. This is 80 kilometer. You know, this is 80 kilometer, and this is 640 kilometer. So this part is dominated by ionized particle. So this part is referred to as the ionosphere. Ionosphere. Getting well now? And uppermost part is referred to as exosphere. Exosphere or magnetosphere. Getting well now? Right? Again you see ionosphere is further divided into several subdivision. You see there are several layer of the ionosphere. First one is D layer, second one is E1 layer, third is sporadic E layer, right? Next one is E2 layer, next one is F1 layer, next one is F2 layer, and the uppermost layer is Z layer. Getting well now? Okay. Again you see E1 sporadic E and E2 layer, since they were identified by Kennelly and Heaviside, that's why this layer is referred to as Kennelly Heaviside layer. Getting well now? And F1 and F2 was identified by Appleton, that's why it is referred to as Appleton layer. Okay, so this is the structural classification as propounded by Patterson, Napier-Straw and Tisrada-Burt. Getting well now? It is clear? Yeah, actually this classification is based on the temperature criteria. Patterson studied the temperature of different part of the Earth atmosphere at different height. He said that the average surface temperature range between 15 to 22 degrees Celsius. When you will uplift in upward direction, temperature will gradually decrease with an gradually decrease with an average rate of 6.5 degrees Celsius per kilometer. The rate of decrease of temperature is referred to as environmental lapse rate or normal lapse rate. Right? Then after, there is a second layer between 14 to 50 kilometer. Right? This layer is characterized by, is known as stratosphere. This layer is characterized by increase in temperature with increase in height. That is, inversion of temperature is the common character of this zone. Okay? Getting well now? The lower part of the stratosphere is dominated by ozone and upper part holds almost homogeneous temperature condition. So the part which is dominated by ozone, basically it is between 15 to 35 kilometers from the Earth's surface, is referred to as ozonosphere, and some part of a stratosphere having almost uniform temperature condition is referred to as isothermal zone. Then between 50 to 80 kilometers, there is a mesosphere also known as chemosphere. Okay? And the uppermost part of the Earth atmosphere is above 80 kilometers. Okay? This part is referred to as thermosphere because temperature continuously increases in this zone. Okay? It is clear now? And you see, thermosphere is further divided to two parts. The lower part of thermosphere is dominated by ionized gaseous particle. Now, this is referred to as ionosphere, and the upper part of thermosphere, right, is referred to as exosphere or magnetosphere. Okay? Ionosphere is further divided to several sublayers known as E layer, E2, D layer, E1 layer, sporadic E layer, E2 layer, F1, F2 and G layer. Right? E1 group, that is E1, sporadic E and E2 were identified by Kennelly Heaviside. That's why it is referred to as Kennelly Heaviside layer. And F1, F2 layer was identified by Appleton, and hence F1 and F2 layer is referred to as Appleton layer. Getting well now? So what is the structural classification, structure of the Earth atmosphere? It is clear now? Now see, I am discussing one to one. Okay? Troposphere is the lowest part of Earth atmosphere. It is clear now? The average thickness of this part is up to 14 kilometers. Just understand, average thickness. Okay? Suppose this is the part of the Earth's surface. This is equator and this is pole, North Pole and South Pole. Okay? So the thickness of the troposphere at the pole is 8 kilometers only, whereas the thickness of the troposphere in equatorial zone range between 16 to 18 kilometers. Okay? And this is the average. The average thickness is said to be 14 kilometers. Is it enough? This is referred to as troposphere because it is a combination of two terms. One is tropo plus a sphere. Tropo means mixing. Sphere means zone. Okay, since you know that solar radiation first warm up the Earth's surface, na? Okay, when Earth's surface become warm, whatever air which remain in contact is warmed up, and and convectional current start, na? Consequently, upward upliftment of the air occur. Again, it cool down and return back. So, in this way, there occur continuous mixing of the gaseous particle in this zone. That's why it is referred to as troposphere. Getting well now? Actually, troposphere accounts for around 32% of the total volume of atmosphere, but more than 68% of the total weight of the atmosphere. It is clear na? It remain in highly compressed form. Okay, density of the gases here is more. Getting well now? Troposphere is also referred to as theater of Earth atmosphere. Okay, theater of Earth atmosphere, because you see the first important factor is more than 90% of atmospheric humidity is contained in the troposphere, and every atmospheric phenomena is the interplay of the change in the state of the water droplet. Water convert into gaseous form through evaporization, then it again gas convert into liquid condensation, then it fall on the ground precipitation. It is clear now? So actually, since it means water molecule play very important role, and more than 90% of the water droplet are found in the troposphere. That's why troposphere is also referred to as theater of Earth atmosphere. Okay, it is referred to as theater of Earth atmosphere. Getting well now? And troposphere is divided into three parts. Lower part is referred to as ground layer, second part is referred to as frictional layer, and third part is referred to as advection layer. Ground layer is the lowest part of the troposphere. Getting well now? Actually, this zone extend up to the height of 2 meters only, right? Two important phenomena occur in this zone. It is dew and frost formation. Okay, when water droplet है ना, water vapor convert into water droplet, it form dew, and when water vapor directly convert into ice crystal, it form frost. Okay, so dew and frost formation are the characteristic phenomena which are associated with the ground layer, which is the lowest part of troposphere. Getting well now? Second zone is frictional layer. In frictional layer, we observe the phenomena like mist, fog, and smoke formation. Mist formation, smoke formation, fog formation occur here. It is clear now? Right? And it is further divided into two parts: lower frictional layer and upper frictional layer, and they are separated by transition zone known as papillopause. Right? Getting well now? And the upper part of troposphere is referred to as advection layer. You see, advection is the mechanism in physics, mechanism of horizontal transfer of energy, right? I have explained the fact that in troposphere, convectional phenomena occur, na? Right? Convection is the intense phenomena, right? So actually, the air ascend in upward direction, again cool down, expand here, and descend in downward direction, na? So in the uppermost part of this cell, there is a horizontal movement of the wind in response to ensure the distribution of energy. Na? So that's why the uppermost layer is referred to as advection layer. Okay, and advection layer is the zone where cloud formation occur. Most of the cloud formation occur in the advection zone. Clear na? In the lower part, dew and frost formation occur. In frictional zone, mist, fog, and smoke formation occur. And in the advection zone, different type of cloud are formed. They are known by different name, and cumulonimbus cloud causes heaviest rainfall. Okay, right? Nomenclature is done according to height, according to the character. I will discuss it in another topics. Okay, it is clear na? So what is the characteristic of troposphere? It is clear, and then the uppermost layer of the troposphere is the uppermost boundary of the troposphere is referred to as tropopause. Tropopauc. tropopause. Okay, combination of tropo and pause. Tropo means mixing and pause means stop. Since here mixing stop, that's why it is referred to as troposphere. Its thickness is around 1.5 kilometer. It is clear now. Then start particularly stratosphere. Okay, in some book they given the name of a second zone as isothermal zone, but this is wrong concept. You see, isothermal means the temperature should be the same na, but you see in the lower part of a stratosphere the temperature is minus 73 degrees Celsius, but it increases up to 0 degrees Celsius in the upper part. It means temperature not remain the same, right? That's why you cannot say the entire zone as the isothermal zone. It is clear now. A stratosphere is characterized by different layer having different thermal character. When different layers are found in a stratified form and they hold different character, that's why they are referred to as, this is referred to as a stratosphere. Why it is referred to as a stratosphere? It is clear na? Due to stratification. Okay, and a stratosphere is characterized by gradual increase in temperature with increase in height with an average rate of 5.5 degrees Celsius. In this zone, the rate of decrease of temperature is 6.5 degrees Celsius per kilometer, degrees Celsius per kilometer. But in this zone, temperature increases with an average rate of 5.5 degrees Celsius per kilometer. You see, normally environmental lapse rate or normal lapse rate is the characteristic of troposphere, but in some part of the troposphere, inversion of temperature is also found. Okay, as for example in polar zone, you know, in polar zone inversion of temperature is the common feature. Again, if any valley is surrounded from all the side by hill, right, inversion of temperature occur na, and inversion of temperature impart stability to this zone. Okay, and hence makes the area desert like to be noted. It is clear na? So in some part, some area, right, in troposphere also inversion of temperature is found, but it is the rare phenomena. Getting well now? Actually, you see during winter season over the oceanic zone, you will find the inversion of temperature type of phenomena because temperature of the ocean get reduced comparatively. Okay, so this phenomena is particularly found in certain pockets on the surface. Getting well now? But inversion of the temperature is the common phenomena in the stratosphere, and the rate of increase of temperature is 5.5 degrees Celsius per kilometer. Okay, in lower part of a stratosphere which exists between, I may erase this. Okay, in lower part of Earth atmosphere, in the lower part of a stratosphere, there remain particularly high concentration of ozone, and hence it is referred to as ozone hole, which is referred to as ozonosphere. Actually, this is Earth's surface, and ozonosphere is found between 15 to 35 kilometer, 15 kilometer to 35 kilometer. Getting well now? Here there is a dominance of O3, that's why known as ozonosphere. Getting well now? Actually, you see, ozonosphere is referred to as protective umbrella as it is capable to absorb ultraviolet rays coming along with the solar radiation. Right? UV rays are being absorbed by the ozone, particularly ozonosphere. Okay, it means you can say that wavelength of ultraviolet rays match with the absorbing capacity of O3. Okay, so that's why that's why ultraviolet rays are mostly being absorbed by the ozonosphere and they not fall on the ground. You see, as far as the question of ultraviolet rays is concerned, ultraviolet rays is shorter wavelength rays and high energy wave, and shorter wavelength rays possess very high penetrating power. If ultraviolet rays will fall on the ground, then it will penetrate the living cell, causing cancerous effect on one hand, and since ultraviolet rays is high energy wave, it will also in turn increase the temperature of the Earth's surface and will cause melting of the glacier. It is clear na? And may be the cause of global warming. It is clear na? So actually, since ultraviolet rays protect the living cell from its cancerous effect, that's why ozonosphere is referred to as protective umbrella. Getting well, na? Protective umbrella. Why it is referred to as protective umbrella? It is clear, na? And actually, one noticeable point is, during Antarctica expedition, right, under the leadership of British scientists, identified है ना, that there exists certain marked reduction in the density of ozone at certain places over the South Pole na. Okay, this low density zone which is produced in the ozonosphere is referred to as ozone hole, right? What is the meaning of ozone hole? It is clear na, ozone hole. So ozone hole is the low density area and low density area of the ozonosphere. And since it was first identified in the polar zone, that's why most of the scientists were initially in the opinion that ozone hole is the phenomena which occur in the polar zone only. But later when research was conducted, the OTP of NASA revealed that ozone hole formation is the universal phenomena. Getting well now? But till this particular finding was not made, the general assumption was that ozone hole are found mainly in the polar zone, and to explain this fact several theories were propounded, and one of the theory was actually nitrogen oxide theory. Okay, so I will explain it, but first you see, actually ozone hole formation is dangerous because the area where ozone hole exists now, ultraviolet rays are not absorbed totally and UV rays will come on the ground. It is clear na? That's why ozone hole formation is a matter of concern for the global community. Okay, because it is a causative factor for environmental degradation. You see, there is a remarkable difference between environmental degradation and that of pollution. Pollution is the local phenomena, whereas degradation is the global phenomena. There is easy remedy of pollution, but there is no easy remedy of degradation. It requires global consciousness and participation and management. So when ozone hole was first identified, then it caused a matter of, it was a matter of concern among the geographers and environmentalists. That's why Montreal Protocol held in 1987. Okay, in this summit, decision was taken to reduce the production and restoration of those substances which causes ozone depletion. Getting well now? Right? It means because it is an example of environmental degradation and it required global effort because it is global problem, not the problem of individual country. Okay? Though the activity of individual country may cause this problem. It is clear na? Right? Actually, because the entire environment is intermixed one. Getting well now? Actually, there is no clear-cut, particularly watertight compartment type of boundary line in the atmosphere similar to that of the land part. It is clear now? So, what is the actual position? It is clear. Now you understand the fact that as far as the question of ozone is concerned, so the formation and destruction of ozone is the common phenomena. Okay? You see, ozone, chemical formula of ozone is O3 na? Chemical formula of ozone is O3. Okay? So you see, when ozone during atmospheric circulation, right, suppose ozone remain here, O3 remain here, and during atmospheric circulation, it reach at the height of 60 to 80 kilometer. 60 to 80 kilometer, it is clear na? So when it reach at the height of 60 to 80 kilometer, since it is relatively close to the sun, that's why solar radiation penetrate O3 and convert it into atomic and molecular oxygen. Getting well now? Right? It means destruction of ozone normally occur right at the height of 60 to 80 kilometer and molecular and the atomic oxygen thus produced when during atmospheric circulation reach between 30 to 40 kilometer now, it recombine to form O3. Recombine to form O3. Getting well now? Actually, this is the process of formation of ozone. This is the process of destruction of ozone. Getting well now? This is naturally occurring phenomena and here, right, one is the formation process, second is destruction process now. So there occur equilibrium in this naturally occurring phenomena. Whatever amount of ozone which is destroyed is equally created in the lower part, and hence the naturally occurring phenomena not causes any reduction in the density of ozone, and hence the nature is not responsible for creation of ozone hole. Getting well now? But you see, the man for their use produce certain non-degradable substance like chlorofluorocarbon, liquid ammonia, fluorinated, halogenated gases, etc. Okay, you see the example of CFC, chlorofluorocarbon. Chlorofluorocarbon is not poisonous when it remain in the lower part of Earth atmosphere, and it is used in the refrigerator and other coolant instrument. It is clear now? Its longevity is 100 days. Okay. When during atmospheric circulation it ascend and reach in the zone of ozonosphere, right? Actually, you see ozonosphere absorb energy, so that's why it holds high amount of energy now. So because of the high temperature prevailing there, bound cleavage of CFC occur, and nascent chlorine and nascent fluorine are produced. Okay, you know that nascent gases are highly reactive. It attack O3, free radical reaction occur, and O3 get converted into O2 plus O. Getting well now? Right? Destruction of, but it means CFC causes destruction of ozone, right? Causes destruction of O3. Okay? This process is in particular known as ozone depletion, right? Naturally occurring process is not referred to as ozone depletion. Okay? The depletion or destruction of ozone due to chlorofluorocarbon, liquid ammonia, right, and other halogenated gas is referred to as ozone depletion. All the substance which causes depletion of ozone are referred to as ODS. ODS, ozone depleting substance. What is the meaning of ozone depletion substance? It is clear now? And in the Montreal Protocol held in 1987, decision was taken to reduce the production and exploration of ODS, okay, so as to nullify the formation of ozone hole. It is clear now? So what is the process? It is clear. Again, actually I had said that initially the general assumption was that ozone hole formation are limited only in the polar zone, and to explain this fact, certain geographers propounded different theory, and one of the theory is oxide of nitrogen theory. It is said that oxide of nitrogen at low temperature condition remain in inert state. It is clear now? In low temperature condition of oxide of nitrogen remain in the inert state now, and at high temperature condition oxide of nitrogen at high temperature condition oxide of nitrogen remain in active state. At high temperature it remain in active state. It is clear now? At low temperature it remain inert now, that is non-active, and at high temperature it remain active now. In high temperature, when it remain inactive, right, in this case whenever due to the cleavage of CFC, nascent chlorine and nascent fluorine are formed. Okay, oxide of nitrogen, since they are active enough, are capable to deactivate nascent chlorine and nascent fluorine, and they not causes ozone depletion to convert O2 into O2 and O. This phenomena not occur at high temperature condition if oxide of nitrogen is present there. Getting well now? Right? That is the reason why in lower latitudinal zone, you know that in lower latitudinal zone the temperature is relatively high now. So that's why oxide of nitrogen remain in active form, and whenever nascent chlorine and nascent fluorine are formed, they are inactivated by the oxide of nitrogen, and hence nascent chlorine and nascent fluorine are not in the position to cause depletion of ozone, okay, and hence no ozone formation, ozone hole formation occur in the lower or middle latitudinal zone. Getting well now? On the other hand, oxide of nitrogen at low temperature conditions remain in inactive form, okay. In this case, if due to the dissociation of chlorofluorocarbon, nascent chlorine and nascent fluorine are produced, okay, they are not deactivated by the oxide of nitrogen. In this case, nascent chlorine and nascent fluorine through free radical reaction conduct destruction of O3 into O2 plus O, and this phenomena is referred to as ozone depletion. So in low temperature condition, you see in the polar zone, low temperature condition prevail, and low temperature condition prevail, and in the middle latitudinal zone or lower latitudinal zone, high temperature condition prevail. Na? So in this high temperature condition, if whenever nascent chlorine and fluorine are formed, they are being destroyed by the oxide of nitrogen. That's why there is no question of the formation of ozone hole. On the other hand, in polar zone, if oxide of nitrogen is present there and it is inactive, in this case, if nascent chlorine and fluorine is produced due to the cleavage of bond of chlorofluorocarbon, okay, it conducts free radical reaction converting O3 into O2 plus O, and hence ozone formation, ozone hole formation occur, and it is mainly noticed in the polar zone. Getting well now? But later scientists identified that this is not the fact, right? Ozone hole formation is the universal phenomena, okay. But now the recent report of NASA, OTP of NASA, OTP means Ozone Trend Panel of NASA, a group of scientists said that presently there is no problem like ozone depletion, ozone hole, right? Whatever ozone hole which were created, right, have been particularly annulled down, okay, due to the concerted effort of the global community. Getting well now? So what is ozonosphere? It is clear now? And in some part of a stratosphere, okay, the temperature remain almost uniform, and this part is referred to as isothermal belt. Getting well now? Troposphere, you see 90% of the humidity is found in the troposphere. That's why different type of cloud are produced there. And you see the only cloud which is produced in the stratosphere is pearl cloud. Pearl, mukta, moti, okay. So pearl cloud is the only cloud which is produced in the stratosphere. That's why a stratosphere is referred to as mother of pearl cloud. Mother of pearl cloud. Getting well now? Right? Mother of pearl cloud, it is clear now? Right? It is bright type of cloud. Okay? And you see, according to some climatologists, the presence of ozonosphere as a part of Earth atmosphere is the causative factor for echo sounding. That is, ring of sound and silence is due to the presence of ozone hole in the atmosphere. Echo sounding, right? It is clear now? So what is the role played by the ozonosphere? Actually, ozonosphere is the part of a stratosphere. It means there are two parts of a stratosphere. One part is referred to as ozonosphere, and second part is referred to as isothermal zone, right? And the stratosphere is characterized by inversion of temperature with an average rate of 5.5 degrees Celsius per kilometer. Okay? Then you see, then the third layer is mesosphere. Mesosphere extends between 50 to 80 kilometer, okay, and it is also referred to as chemosphere because several chemical phenomena occur in this zone, okay, and it is said that most of the meteorite, that is shooting star, get destroyed in the mesosphere. That's why mesosphere is dominated by meteoric dust particle, okay, and there is a single cloud which is produced in the mesosphere is nucleoscent cloud, okay, right, which is visible only after the sunset, right, है ना, निशादीप्त मेघ है, nucleoscent cloud, हाँ, right? So actually you see nucleosynth cloud is produced in mesosphere, okay? You actually pearl cloud is formed in the stratosphere, and the remaining cloud are formed in this troposphere. Getting well now? Next is actually you see the boundary line which separate troposphere and stratosphere is tropopause. Similarly, the boundary line which separate stratosphere and that of mesosphere is stratopause. Pause means stop. Since layerification is almost a stop at the height of 80 kilometer, right, to at the height of particularly 50 kilometer, so that's why it is said that at the boundary of stratosphere and mesosphere, right, there exists stratosphere, or stratosphere separate stratosphere and mesosphere. Getting well now? Now see, the uppermost part of the Earth atmosphere is fourth thermosphere. Okay, thermosphere normally exists above 80 kilometers from the Earth's surface up to the upper part of the Earth atmosphere. Since temperature in this zone continuously increases, that's why it is referred to as thermosphere. Okay, clear now? Now see, thermosphere is further divided into two parts. The lowermost part of thermosphere extending between 80 kilometer to 640. 80 kilometer to 640, right? This zone is referred to as ionosphere because there is a dominance of the gaseous ion in this zone. Getting well now? Actually, since it is upper part, solar radiation penetrate this part, and hence due to penetration you see the gaseous particles remain in ionized form, right, and hence it is referred to as ionosphere. Ionosphere is also characterized by free flow of electron. Okay, free flow of electron occur in the zone of ionosphere, and ionosphere is further divided to several layers, namely D layer, right, from bottom to top I am saying, D layer, E1 layer, sporadic E layer, E2 layer, F1 layer, F2 layer and G layer. So E1, E2 and E3 layer, E1 sporadic and E2 layer was identified by Kennelly and Heaviside. That's why E1 sporadic and E2 layer is collectively referred to as Kennelly Heaviside layer. Okay, and F1 and F2 layer was identified by Appleton. That's why F1 and F2 layer are collectively referred to as Appleton layer. Okay, F1 and F2 layer, that is Appleton layer, holds relevance because it finds application in radio transmission and radio communication. Getting well now? What is the relevance of F1 and F2? It is clear now, right? When F1 and F2 is most important among other, particularly sub-layer of the ionosphere. Okay, and then after above 640 kilometer, the part of thermosphere is referred to as exosphere or magnetosphere. Getting well now? Exosphere and magnetosphere, the gases remain in a highly rarefied form. Okay, and hence since the density of gases are very low, that's why if you will stretch your hand outside the plane, right, aircraft, you will the temperature will not be noticeable. It is clear now? Though the temperature increases up to 200 degrees Celsius. Okay, right, it is clear now? And it is said that Earth is also surrounded by radiation belt, two radiation belt. This radiation belt was identified by Van Allen, and this is referred to as Van Allen radiation belt. Okay, so that's all about the structure of Earth atmosphere. Okay, let's stop now. कितने समय का हुआ देखिए.